Hi, NARC troopers. Today I want to talk to you about how we can navigate through our recovery during a time where there is a global pandemic. When COVID is all around us, and even if you're one of those people who tries to minimize it and just get on and live your life as if nothing is happening, the truth of the matter is that there's a lot happening, even outside of the realm of COVID. The pandemic is a historical, epic event that only happens every couple of centuries or something. I mean, we have Spanish flu, have the plague back during that time period. But, we are unfortunate enough to live during one of those pandemic periods in history where thousands die, millions die. And it's changing. It's a game changer, So when you're already in a crisis, you're already having a really hard time, because something really awful has just happened to you with the abuse and with the trying to get your footing after this relationship with this person who's not okay. All of that, it would be hard enough even if there weren't a pandemic. My recovery began in June of 2019. And I remember, how horrible that was. So that for me, when the pandemic came the following March, I was like, bring it on. I can handle anything after the last few months that I've gone through. And there's a lot of truth to that. About that. And I just want to say some of the same skills that you have to learn when you're recovering from a relationship with a narcissist, sociopath, or psychopath, some of those same skills are skills that will help you be able to get through this very difficult period in time. And like I said, it's not just the pandemic, it's natural disasters caused by climate change with extreme weather events that are going to continue to wreak havoc and, cause a lot of loss of property and life and livelihood and just all of that. There's wars, there's riots, there's shootings, there's racial strife, there's, gender strife, there's just so many things happening right now, so many things. There's 1.5 mass shootings per day in the United States. And we are trying to just breathe. We are trying to regulate ourselves. We're trying to mend our broken heart, end our addiction to our abuser, get free of them, wrestle with our PTSD and make good decisions about how to manage that PTSD. There's just so much on us right now. What do you do? And so here's my suggestion. First of all, know that if you have survived thus far, months, maybe you're a year or more and you're still struggling, but you've got some little bit of mileage behind you, then that's a good sign because you've already proven that you're not going to perish. You have already proven that you will survive, and you have already proven that you want to somehow reclaim some kind of life with joy and hope and faith and peace and happiness and all that, right? So here's a couple of things that just come to mind. First of all, I'm thinking we can't go backwards. And longing for the past, for what we lost, it's over. And that applies to our relationship with this person, and it applies to the pandemic. I think it's a game changer for where people live, for how people work, for how they do commerce, for our relationship with the internet, with the way education is conducted, the way our healthcare system is managed. All of it is going to be affected by this pandemic because it's not over. I mean, we got a ways to go, and before it is over, there's going to have to be more flexibility instead of just trying to get back to normal. That's what everybody's like, let's try to get back to normal. What does that even mean? I mean, it's gone. It's been almost, what, 18 months, 19 months now. That normal life, I don't think that that's coming back. I think we're going to have to do new and improved. And I like that idea, because you can't just try to fake it and go back to something that's in ruin and try to act like, yeah, I'm reclaiming what's mine and whatever. No, what you're doing is wishful thinking, trying to go back into the past and make it into something that it's never going to be again. It's had its glory days, and it ended, and it's over, and you have to let it go. So let's start thinking forward, being proactive, trying to create like a new life for ourselves instead of trying to cling to the past and trying to get back and recover what you lost and all that kind of mentality. And that applies to both the pandemic and to recovery from this. Let's see, what could the second thing be? I just make this up as I go. So I have some stuff I need to do, so I'm a little distracted. Let me think. So that's definitely the big one, and really that's why I picked up my phone and started recording this. I wanted to tell you that you got to let that go and invent something new, create something new. Yeah. So how do you do it? The way that you make your friends and the way that you build your support network, yeah, that's going to have to change. You can't go into big crowds and do that to have your socialization now with the pandemic. And I'm thinking, I have an inner circle with like 3 friends in it. A shout out to friends Tony, Jean, and Laura. Yeah. And so Tony, Jean, and Laura are my inner circle. And so I know that they don't go to rock concerts and football games. They're pretty, stick to life with their families and pretty much at home. Some of them work from home. And so that has become my support. That has become my pandemic support team, my tribe, during this time where I'm not going to go out and meet a bunch of whole new people or mingle in big crowds. It's just irresponsible and unwise. It's like inviting trouble. So, yeah, just think about that as far as like how you could get an inner circle, a bubble, so to speak, and create that bubble with your people in it and make those people who are in the bubble be enough for you when it comes to support and that kind of thing. That would be safe, it would be responsible, and it would meet your needs. Another thing that I want to mention is getting like using other options, Zoom, Facebook, Duo, just all those video things, like WhatsApp. There's lots of ways to connect for free with people all over the world. And you should use them because you can transport yourself outside of your little space to real flesh and blood people. They may not be there in the flesh, but they're there through technology, through the wonders of technology. And it may not be as good as having them in person, but it's a close second. So what I do is I go to some meetup groups. I have some that I go to on Zoom. And one of them is like an international group. So there are people from all over the world that I'm meeting and talking to and like, hey, what's going on in Korea? What's going on in Germany? What's happening in Austria? And we talk about different things. And it's a great, I think I've sort of made friends. Got invitations from somebody in Colombia to come to Colombia and stay, that I have a free place to stay whenever I can get there. And another lady in Germany said, come visit me and you can stay, a couple of weeks, a month, whatever. And, travel's kind of hard because of this. See that? Yeah, that's why it's a little troublesome to travel because I have her. But all of that aside, I do the meetup groups like that. You can do live streaming events. You can attend them. You can do all kinds of things to talk to real live people without being there in the flesh. So I would say, encourage you to open up your world to deal with, that's part of your healing, is to have other people around you and to develop some of your own interests that make you happy, and you don't have to go out somewhere to do that. So there's a lot of things, during a pandemic, you got to try to take care of your health. During recovery, you got to pay attention to your health. You can get adrenal fatigue. You can get all kinds of things that happen to you during recovery, that happen to you physically. My health is deteriorated, and I'm 100% certain that it's because of how rough this recovery has been this past 2 years, a little over 2 years. It's been so hard on me that, yes, it has affected me physically. It's made me accident prone. It's made me not get enough sleep. So that's an invitation for all kinds of stuff. When you are chronically not sleeping as you should, there's a lot of ways it breaks you down. So you have to really pay attention to try to hold on to your health. I mean, if you don't have your health and your body working for you, then you're so limited, and it's not a good thing. And so during a pandemic, you got to be health conscious, right? You got to pay attention, stay away from crowds, wash your hands, don't touch your face. I wear a mask all day because I'm a teacher, and I'm in a school where it's just kind of the expectation. It's not required, but everybody does it. And let me tell you, talking, lecturing, explaining stuff, relating to students, all day for I'm there from 8 to 5. It's a really long day. Is super hard. But I do it because I feel like I've got a better chance of surviving this if I stick to the mask policy. Even though it feels yucky and even though I hate it, I think it's my best chance at survival. So I'm going to wear that mask, and I want the people around me to also. So I'm going to take health precautions like that because of the pandemic, and also because I'm in recovery and I'm debilitated from that, from the whole recovery thing, right? In ways that I got to take supplements. I've got to find stress reducers. I have to try to be good to myself, be sweet to myself. That's really important. So I think the bottom line is we have to be adaptable and adapt to the new life that we're going to have without our narcissist, to the new life we're going to have with this pandemic raging around us. And like I said before, all the other things, the weather catastrophes and the, fires and floods and hurricanes and whatnot. And then just the state of people's mental condition, the divisiveness, the polarization, the split that we see in this country, just so many disheartening things. It's a time of upheaval, turmoil, and after it's over, maybe it's like a wildfire that runs through the forest. It burns everything to the ground, and then everything regenerates, and it's newer and better and all fresh and pretty. I like to think that it's going to be like that instead of thinking about worst case scenario, I have children and grandchildren, and I hate to think of them in some dystopian landscape for their future. So I'm going to be optimistic, and I think that that's my final thing to say. We have to keep faith in something larger than ourselves, that goodness will triumph, that the people who are virtuous and good and thoughtful and try to help each other and who are kind, and here's a side jab to the narcissist, the kind of people that do not betray and harm and use and exploit and hurt and injure other people, and they do it and they don't care. It doesn't bother them. They're okay with it. It's like, you deserve it. I'm gonna punish you because I'm having some imaginary reason to punish you that doesn't even exist. It's not even real. I mean, you're dealing with something crazy here. You just have to remember that. And that doesn't make it okay for you to start having narcissistic behaviors, or for you to devolve into some kind of lower vibration kind of person. You got to be above that, because I'm assuming, unless you have something like that too, that you've been in this relationship with the narcissist, sociopath, or psychopath, and that what do I want to say, that there's nothing fundamentally wrong with you that would prevent you from full recovery and healing and having a healthy relationship at some point with both yourself and another person. There's nothing to stop you from doing that. It just requires you to, do the hard work to get there. The person that you were with, that narcissist, sociopath, psychopath, they don't have that choice to get well, to get healthy, to have a real healthy relationship, and to heal themselves. I think that's out of reach for them. So, at least we can do it. And I think we have to, be thankful for that, be grateful, have gratitude that we have the ability to evolve and to have meaningful, real, authentic relationships, because they can't. They're not ever going to have that. It's all fake. It's all for show. Love is really lust and excitement. It's not love. They don't love themselves. They don't love you. It's just terrible. And so we have to raise the bar and be the better people, and be expressing love, unconditional love, to ourselves, to the higher power that is at work all around us all the time, and express that love to everyone that we meet. We can't carry hatred, which is the opposite of love. We can't carry hatred and anger with us. I know I've had my moments with my ex-husband, narcissist, psychopath, that I wanted to hurt him like he hurt me. And I had some pretty genius plans to do that. Yes. Because it was kind of fun to think about what I could do. I mean, I would never permanently harm him in any kind of horrible, I would never commit murder. But I had some really great ideas about other things that I could do to him that would be awesome. And I can't do that. He's mentally ill. He's sick. He's disabled. He asked me the other day, "Are you disabled?" On the phone. I do talk to him because I have my crazy moments too. And he said, "Are you disabled?" He asked me weird questions like, "Do you want to die?" He used to ask me that, right after we split up, numerous times. "Do you want to die? Are you ready to die?" And I thought, okay, are you getting ready to kill me? Or why are you asking me that? And why are you asking me now? This was last week, are you disabled? Not as disabled as you are, buddy. Not as disabled as you. But then, of course, you are not capable with your brain damage and all your jacked up stuff. There's no way you're going to get that. So I'm wasting my breath. I'm not even going to tell you. So, it's like that. So you got to stay faithful, hopeful, optimistic that we'll get through this. We'll get to the other side, that the pandemic will end, that life will go on, and that we will learn something valuable from all of this, from the pandemic and from what's happening with the planet and what happened with our narcissist. Hopefully we learn, because isn't that the whole point? This is a learning experience. There's a lesson that maybe the universe is trying to teach us. And I think we would be smart if we paid attention to what that lesson may be. Sit in a quiet space and just have that little talk with yourself and with Source, Spirit, God, whatever, Yahweh, Allah, whatever you want to call God. Get a quiet time and pray and close your eyes and meditate and just ask and say, what is the lesson here? What are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to show me? Make it more clear. Guide me through this. And whatever your understanding is of God, I think you'll get an answer. May not be what you're expecting, but I still think it'll get answered. I do. So that's what I wanted to say, that recovering from narcissistic abuse is a lot like a global, deadly, epic pandemic. And there's other parallels, how they infect you and they get in you, and then you get the long version of it that just goes on. You don't just jump up and say, I've recovered. It takes forever to get over it. Sometimes you have lingering disability for a long time. There's that word. I guess we are sort of disabled. They're more disabled than we are. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, that was my message tonight. I hope that it made some sense. I'm tired. I'm going to take a shower and do the sleep thing. Listen to a podcast until I pass out. That's my sleep regimen, to turn on a podcast until I'm just like, okay, I'm really tired. I'm going to close my eyes. Okay, so I love all of you, and I want you to stop hurting. The suffering is tremendous. I know that. And sometimes it's so much you don't think it will ever end. But it can. And I believe that it will. Okay. All right. Much love. See you soon. Bye.